Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm the Housewife Historian, and we are here to talk the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I'm going to be talking a little bit in code today because if you watch my channel and you watch my live, yes.
Is the plane going down? Are we gonna die? Why are you saying I'm sorry?
Good morning, guys. Happy Monday. I am the Housewife Historian. You can call me Lindsay, and we are here talking Real Housewives, Real Housewives in headlines, and of course, the Real Housewives of Potomac. A lot happened in last night's episode. This is not a review, guys, but I am going to be kind of breaking down to you where this rumor started as it pertains to Ashley Darby, Michael Darby, and the allegations that Candace made at Wendy's burn dinner. Allegedly that Michael was hooking up with this male escort. I'm going to break that down and then just, of course, kiki about some other things that have been going on in the Housewives and Bravo community. We saw Ashley Darby also filming at Luke from Winter House, his apartment, at least we think it is, and we're going to talk about that as well. But before we do, guys, of course, everything in this video is alleged. Please hit the like button. It really does help my videos. I'm trying to grow, so hit that follow button. Turn your notifications on, only because I'm going to be having a lot of different people on around the holidays in the next couple of months. So you're going to want to make sure, in case I don't get a calendar, in case I don't get a calendar out and I don't get you the information ahead of time, always, it's good to have your notifications on. Okay, guys, of course, everything in this video is alleged as well. I'm not sure where you guys want to start because I'm pre-recording this. I have been doing lives, but I know that sometimes they can be longer and they're more, I interact with the audience a little bit more. So sometimes for our viewers on the go, I like to make a shorter video that's just super informative, less of my opinion, less of your guys' opinion, and more of just some facts. So that's what you're looking for. This video is for you, and if not, keep scrolling. Okay, Real Housewives of Potomac. Wendy had a burn dinner, right? And before we left the burn dinner, we have Ashley Darby and Candace getting into it, right? And Candace says that Michael she just blurts it out of the table. She names the person who is allegedly a high-end male escort that Michael Darby was allegedly soliciting. But she didn't say it that way. She said something a little bit more, I think she said like that fellatio, basically. I'm sure you guys can put two and two together. I don't want to get demonetized. She blurts it out at this burn dinner. She says the name, which I don't know why Bravo doesn't air the name. I hate when they blurp that type of things out. It's frustrating. But regardless, we've heard this rumor before, guys, okay? And so I want to break that down for you because we've heard this before. Before I started filming in the YouTube world, I used to, of course, watch YouTube. And there was a gentleman that went by the name of Prince Andrew. And he used to come on Sherelle's World. I think him and Up and Adam came on together. And then, of course, there was a falling out, blase skip. I don't want to get into any of that. However, he's not on Sherelle's World anymore. He used to come on, and he was much younger than most of us watching, most of the viewers as well, but he alleged that he was in contact with a male escort, a high-end male escort, who allegedly hooked up with Michael Darby. Well, Michael Darby paid for his services many of times. Like, Michael Darby was basically a regular with this high-end male escort. Candace saying that, and saying that she's been holding it for a really long time and she wasn't going to bring it up. It just it sounds legit. Sorry, I just wanted to put some gloss on, guys. That's better. Okay, I think she has been holding on to this because we have to remember that Candace is a little bit in the blogger community. If you guys remember, there was a blogger who used to not speak very highly of Candace, and they would kind of argue back and forth. And once she actually made a live and said that she hoped that he would unalive, not unalive himself, but just unalive. And then a couple of months later, tragically, the blogger, the YouTuber, he passed away. So she is in the community of bloggers. They are listening to different YouTube videos. I know they listen to Sherelle's World because they've had altercations back and forth with people over there. So I do think that Candace is in the YouTube world. I think all of the ladies listen to different videos. However, I'm thinking that Candace got this information from Sherelle's World, from Rich Andrew, and maybe she did some digging from there and got his name. She could have messaged Prince Andrew. She could have done a lot of things to get the dirt on Michael Darby. It could have just fallen in her lap as well. Who really knows? But the truth of the matter is that the rumor started in the YouTube community with this, young lad who was into the Real Housewives and allegedly lived in the area of Potomac and knew a lot of rich people. His family was allegedly rich, i.e. Rich Andrew. But none of the other blogs really picked it up. We never... As far as I know, if you guys have heard that rumor on any other YouTube blogs, Patreon, Instagram, Twitter about this high-end male escort, please comment. Please DM me on Instagram. I would love to hear what you have to say. If anyone has any information, please let me know. But that is originally where this rumor came from. So I don't know if we can give it light or not. It really isn't even relevant. I know that Candace comes out and says it obviously to her Ashley. But I think at this point, like Ashley and Michael, when they were filming, I don't think people really thought they were going to get a divorce. They thought it was for a storyline, but they seem to be split up from what we can tell nowadays. And also it's interesting because everyone was saying that Ashley Darby should hook up with this Luke from Winter House. Now, I don't watch Winter House, but I know a lot of you guys do watch Winter House. Let me look it up here. I'm going to get his last name for you. I want to point out a couple of things. First of all, do you notice how much Michael Darby's traveling? First, he was in Vegas when Ashley was trying to buy the house or looking at houses, and he wasn't picking up his phone about the whole, announcement of their divorce, which I also think it's shady of Bravo. Why didn't you give us any else information about that? We just never heard Ashley talking about it again. Where was Michael? Why was his phone off? You know what I mean? Is he mad about the announcement? Does he know who leaked it? Did he leak it? Now, when she goes to the burn session, she says that Michael's in the Bahamas. Is Michael avoiding filming? Did they want him to film? Or is he just going buck wild because he's been with Ashley for 8 years, and even though they had their extracurricular activities, it's different than, I guess, just being a free man who, is rich and wants to be single, apparently. I thought that was interesting, though. Okay, his name is Luke Gulberson. Does that sound right? Gulberson? Yeah, it is. It says, though, that he made a temporary exit from his stay at Winter House after co-star Craig threatened to throw him out the window. Okay. I was just curious about him. So anyways, Ashley Darby and him, Ashley starts hearing at BravoCon, all these people are like, everyone thinks you guys should hook up. You would be great together, la, 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 la. So at BravoCon, perfect opportunity because they were at BravoCon together. So they somehow started hanging out, and we saw them hanging out a little bit, but just, of course, on the weekend of BravoCon. I know, I should have my housewife historian coffee cup. I'm sorry, at McDonald's today. So anyways, they allegedly started hooking up, and a couple of days ago, Ashley Darby posted one of her little, TikToks where she's shaking her booty and all this craziness. And she looked like she was at an apartment that could have been a single man's apartment somewhere in Minnesota, okay? Because that's allegedly where Luke is from. I looked that up already, but I'm going to double check. Sorry, guys. Let me just Google this real quick. I think Minnesota. He's a native of Minnesota. I'm surprised he hasn't moved since appearing on there. But anyways, he's in Minnesota, and Ashley must have came out there to visit him because it was definitely looked like his apartment in the background. Everyone's been saying it. likely true. Ashley's pretty open. Okay. Also, though, guys, of course, again, let me know your comment on the entire Michael Darby situation. And then Candace feeling frustrated about Chris, of course, because now we have Mia, who allegedly said that Chris was staring at her at the event. Now, Bravo producers flash back to the event, and we see Chris kind of propped up on the bar, but he's on his phone. And Mia is like grabbing a drink at the bar, but Chris doesn't seem to be fazed by her standing there. He's not talking to her and he's not looking at her. Now, allegedly, Mia went on Watch What Happens Live last night and told Andy Cohen that she thought he was staring at her because she was sick. Just saying. The ladies take off, they fly to Miami, and Mia tells them it's going to be first class, 5 stars all the way, right? They get to the house, it only has 6 bedrooms, there's 9 ladies, and they're not on the beach. They're in a really nice house with a pool, but if you think Miami Beach and you think 5-star, you think you're going to be opening your balcony like you're going to be at a resort, and you're going to open your door and there'd be the ocean and the salt air and beautiful people and thongs and women with booties. And they're not, they're like in North-South Beach, if that even makes sense. It does kind of look like a residential area. It's definitely not in the ocean, and producers are so shady at the Real Housewives of Potomac because they actually take the house and like then take a picture of actual South Beach, and they do a split screen, and then they put an arrow that like points to where South Beach is in reference to the house. It's like way over there. So that I thought was interesting. A couple of other things we have to talk about. The fact that oh my gosh, Cynthia's ex-husband is on the Real Housewives of Potomac, and his storyline is like Wendy. I don't understand this. I really was hoping this was like a Giselle storyline. Peter Thomas owns these bar ones. We know he was married to Cynthia. We know that he wasn't able to have a successful restaurant when he was living with her. When they divorced, he owed her thousands of dollars. She ended up suing him for like 60 of it. And now we have him, we saw him in Real Housewives of Atlanta because he was at one of the events. He came up and he hugged and kissed Kenya. And I want to point out to you guys, because I don't think people realize this. When Peter Thomas went up to Kenya really quickly because they were filming Real Housewives of Atlanta, he hugged her and said hello, and it was dark outside. He had sunglasses on. When he walked away, Kenya said, "Oh, he's higher than a mother effer right now." Peter does seem to like the nightlife. He's at the bar like a lot. He has a drink in his hand. And we're seeing this like storyline with Wendy in the restaurant. I really thought that she was just looking for, something to kind of hold on to for this season. But now that they're incorporating Mia into that, it makes me feel like it's even more like, I don't know, orchestrated, because Mia's trying to say that G knows Peter. I don't know, guys. I just think it's a little bit wild that we're going to have an altercation between Mia and Wendy as it pertains to Peter Thomas. Why does it matter if Peter Thomas sent her allegedly emails with contracts? She's allowed to take as much time as she wants to. Nobody's going to run and write out a check for $300,000 and hand it to Peter Thomas. Okay, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm happy that he's successful. I think he has a great business. Bar one, he has it down in Miami. He probably does great. And then he also opened one up in Baltimore on the Bay. I don't know. I know that restaurant business is hard work. And I know that Peter kind of started, Cynthia got on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, and he has slowly, made connections, and he seems to work very hard. But I just don't think that someone with Peter Thomas's rapport is someone you would give $300 and some thousand to in hopes of opening a successful restaurant. Restaurants are not actually profitable like that for a long time. It takes a lot to get a restaurant going. It takes a lot to keep it running, and it takes a lot to make sure it stays clean, that you have good chefs and good food and vendors. And there's just a lot of things, a lot of work. So I just think it's wild that we're going to see Mia call Peter. Peter's going to say, "Oh la la, I got a beef with Wendy. I emailed her and I ain't heard from her back." move on then. If you move on, if you want to open up you know what I mean? Like, how about just pay me for my idea? That's cool. Run me a couple grand for my Nigerian idea. Like, maybe in 5 years, if you open, I'll open up competition for you. I don't know. Who knows? But it just seems really, really orchestrated. And then we see scenes for next week, and it looks like Mia hits Wendy with her purse while Wendy is sitting down. Wild. That's some wild. That is below the belt and wild. Okay, I feel bad for Wendy. I know that she's not exactly super duper likable. I get it. But like, you got Robin dogging her kids when it comes to the whole family fun day. And then you invite her to Miami and you hit her with your purse while she's seated at a table over effing Peter Thomas? We had heard a lot about Giselle and Peter Thomas. Raise your hand if you heard they was getting the freak on. I heard this as well. Are they going to show any of that? Did they cut that? Are they giving Giselle a really good edit here? Are they saying they should have had Giselle introduce Mia to the group? They should have Giselle introduce Peter Thomas to the group and cause the conflict between Giselle and Wendy, because it looks incredibly orchestrated to have Mia acting like G knows Peter and that they are down there at his restaurant, right? She never said, we're going to go to Miami. We're going to go to bar one. My friend, good friend with Peter, my husband's good friends with Peter Thomas. So we're going to go there. Like, she didn't even say any of that. It seemed very sporadic, right? And of course, Peter Thomas is going to roll with it because it's publicity for him, right? And it's publicity for his restaurant. So he doesn't care if it's Mia, Giselle, Wendy. He don't care. He's getting time on the show. He's getting paid for that. And he's getting advertisement. Priceless, right? I just think that it's very, very, very wild to hit the woman while she's sitting down. Like, and then we just the way, I don't know. There's just something sketchy to me about Mia. She's a very beautiful woman. And I very much appreciate like her authenticity when it comes to her mom and the drug addiction and filming that. I think it's wonderful and I appreciate that, but I just think that it seems some of the things don't always go together. Just like she's like really nice to Charisse. She brings her on the group trip and gives her own room, and she's just supposed to be a friend of. I didn't like that. I thought that was a little bit crazy. I'm not sure if I feel like she should have actually been on the trip. And then like, of course, in her confessionals, you see Mia say, oh, I just love her because her eyebrows will be, or her eyelashes will be down her face or sliding off, and she don't even care. Like, you passive aggressive. I don't really like that. I think that's, I mean, if you want to talk bad, that's one thing, but come on now. Then the last thing, that's where I'm going to leave us with Real Housewives of Potomac, because there's not much more to talk about. Robin, Giselle, la 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 la. Kind of just focusing in right now on the Candace and Ashley and now Mia Wendy saga. And then the last thing I want to share with you guys is there is a video out. TMZ, I think, got it from somebody must have sold it to TMZ, and it is Jen Shaw on the streets somewhere, wherever she was this weekend. If you guys watched her Snapchat, her Instagram, I think she had to make an appearance somewhere. I don't think it was Vegas though. Regardless, there is footage, probably like a minute of footage of her and maybe 3 other people standing on the street screaming, okay? I want to know everything that was said, so I'm kind of waiting for the video to make circulation because I know somebody will be able to completely break everything down for us. We hear them screaming FUs. We hear somebody say something about Jen Shaw's husband. Like, it's wild, 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 okay? In the streets. Late, it's dark for sure. Just the 4 of them screaming. So, can't wait for somebody to break that down, and then I'll bring you that story when that happens. So, stay tuned. And then, of course, make sure you hit that like button. It really does help my videos, guys. And I'm trying to grow. So, hit your subscription, and then, of course, turn your notifications on. And of course, we have more coming, so much more to talk about on Mondays after Real Housewives of Potomac. And then, of course, the internet and just so much to talk about with Housewives and Headlines. So I'm going to be getting that Housewives and Headlines together as well. I'm probably going to have a guest on Tuesday or Thursday, and we're going to be talking Erica Jane. We're going to be talking Tom Girardi. We're going to be talking new arrests that have been made and why that is significant to Erica and Girardi and Keese. So you don't want to miss it. All right, guys, have a great Monday. Bye.